Hi everyone, Nathan of Hey Poor Player here, and I'm here at the Yooka-Laylee event in San Francisco, California. And with me is Andy Robinson, the writer of Yooka-Laylee, I believe. And I'm here to interview him, ask him some questions. Nothing too disgusting or personal. I will be totally professional, I promise. And so Andy, how are you enjoying San Francisco? How's your day so far?
Well, it's been really great to see all the media playing the game and seeing it in action for the first time. And yeah, it's really exciting to be so close to release. And we hope that everyone enjoys the game.
So, first question I want to start with, this is more about you and sort of like your inception into ukulele. So, how did you get introduced to the project, and like, just sort of how did you end up in like joining the company and joining the project, and like, what are your thoughts on like those first like first few steps like in development?
Sure. So I was there pretty much from the start. I already knew Grant Kirkhope through my kind of previous jobs, and he kind of let me know when he heard that a few of our founders were kind of thinking of putting a company together. So I was around there at the kind of the very start of the company to help them out, and eventually I joined and we did the Kickstarter together, and kind of the journey went on from there.
Nice. So it's super cool to hear that you were there since the beginning. So just kind of fast forward, like kind of going now. Like what are your like sort of thoughts and feelings like going like seeing that Kickstarter funded to like now just like only a few weeks from release? How do you feel like just being there from the beginning and seeing it like all just kind of come together?
Well, it's a cliche to say it's been like a roller coaster, but it really has to go from those early pre Kickstarter days when there were 6 or 7 of us crammed in a tiny office to the absolutely amazing response we had from the Kickstarter. And the tens of thousands of fans who supported us. To now, we've moved office so many times, and the team has kind of grown to around 20, 22 or 23 people. And as you say, we're weeks from release. We have a game that's almost done. We're very anxious to get it out there and get people's hands on it, and we're excited to see what the reaction will be.
Nice to hear. So just you're the main writer of the game. So what I want to ask you is like ukulele is a it's sort of like a spiritual successor to platform games of the past, specifically like games like Banjo-Kazooie. Those games aren't particularly known for like they have dialogue, but that's more of a technical limit. They aren't super known for like super intricate, vast stories. So what my question is, how what are the challenges and sort of the advantages of writing for a game of this genre? Is it like are you sticking close to those sort of genre conventions, or are you kind of just like maybe like breaking away from that a little bit? Tell us like how that is.
Well, it's been lots of fun to be involved in the writing on the game because we want to put personality into everything that we do. So it's just about making all of everything that I can through writing fun and entertaining. And that comes from the team kind of having a lot of chemistry and bouncing off each other and coming up with lots of awful puns and dad jokes that we kind of combine into the amazing characters that our character artists make and the audio that our kind of audio guys come up with. And when that all combines, it's just a really fun package. And as I say, like full of personality. In a lot of ways, you could put with the such talented artists and audio guys that we have, you could have a tax return kind of with a googly head talk, and it'd be fun in our game. So it's really been a pleasure to work with those guys.
Nice. You talk about chemistry, and what I want to know is like the creative process behind ukulele. How does that kind of operate? Do you like does someone give you art and then you kind of decide like what kind of personality you have? Do you like make these characters and then the art team sort of does it like how do you all play off each other and sort of like what's the dynamic between you and everyone in the company? I would ask.
Well, it's a very collaborative process, and that's kind of the ethos of the company is that nothing's off limits. Just because you're an artist doesn't mean you can't have a say in the audio, and just because you're in audio doesn't mean you can't have a say in the story. And everyone kind of has their own ideas, and everyone has a similar personality. So we get on very well, and we're honest with each other, and that's how we kind of help shape the project together as a group. There's a lot of autonomy there. You can we're very lucky to have the freedom to like have our hands in lots of different areas of the game, and certainly the writing is far from all just myself. The designers have lots and tons of ideas, and they come up with a lot of the funny jokes. And it just makes your life easier to work with such talented people.
Nice. By the way, I very much enjoyed every pun that I got to play in the demo. It was like that's my type of humor, so I super enjoyed all the clever writing and all the puns. It was really fun. It was a really fun time. So my next question, I guess, would be you talk about like how everyone on the team is sort of it's a very collaborative process. Like everyone kind of has their like has say in things, and you're all like very open to that. Does being an indie kind of like is that sort of one of the benefits of being an indie studio that you guys can just like be so collaborative and be kind of open more so than like maybe like a AAA studio?
Absolutely, because we don't have any, rigid technical structure or big, documents saying that this is how we do things and you stick to that, or this is your job and you stay within your perimeters. It allows us to have that freedom to kind of collaborate and have input in lots of different areas. And we think that's very important in kind of coming up with a game like that, is that our team members have the freedom and they have the trust to kind of do what they're good at and do what they love doing. And that the result is what you see. To give you an example, a character artist now will kind of come up with a character from scratch and model it for the game and animate it themselves. Whereas if you're in a big company, that might be 3 or 4 people, involved in that process. So yeah, absolutely, having the freedom to shape our own destiny allows us to kind of to come up with a game like this.
Super super cool. So next question would be so you're only a few weeks away from release. Has that has there been any kind of nerves like having it be so close? I mean, you've been with it since the beginning, and now like it's kind of like I liken it to like sort of raising a child and then like seeing it go off to school for the very first time. Can you tell me like sort of like the emotional experience that has on you as someone who's been so like closely attached to the product, or like the closely attached to the game since sort of its very humble beginnings?
Well, absolutely, you nailed it. It's like kind of we're about to set our child free into other people's hands. So, of course, there's a lot of nerves there. We've worked really, really hard to repay the faith and the support that all of our fans and backers paid us. So, of course, right now we're really, hoping that they, kind of enjoy a lot of the decisions we made on this game. But we like to say that those Kickstarter backers weren't just supporting one game, they were supporting the studio, and they've given us the opportunity to grow and to stay independent, and we intend to repay them for many years with many different games.
Cool. So my next question is about Yooka-Laylee, the game specifically. So the game has a very lighthearted tone. I got like even just like from viewing the trailers, I was actually one of the people who kind of got on board from the very start when I saw Yooka-Laylee. Like when I saw like all the names attached, like Banjo-Kazooie, spiritual successor, as one of my like precious childhood memories, I was like super excited, and it's really nice to see that the game sort of like in tone and in spirit has like this really upbeat sort of happy kind of feeling and theme to it. Was that like your like total was that your direction from the start to make this sort of uplifting kind of happy like quirky game, or like was that just like naturally what came out of like those first early like days, weeks of thinking of this project?
No, that was absolutely our intention. A lot of the humor comes back to what I mentioned before. It's just the personality of the group shining through. But we totally intended this game to be, something that's full of personality and is a game that everyone can play. We're trying to make a game that kind of has the tone of a Pixar film or The Simpsons, something like that can appeal to different audiences and different generations. We want people to be able to play this game with their kids, but also we want adults to be able to play it and get kind of different things from it. So that's absolutely our intention.
So from the demo I got to play, I sort of got went through the tutorial, went through the hub world, and then got to the first like real area you can explore. And to my surprise, because like this is something new for me in like at least 3D platformers, is that if you can see it in like sort of the like horizon, you can go to it, and it's almost completely like free and open. There's no like invisible barriers from what I saw. Like if something within like Yooka-Laylee's like design was jumpable or like you can like stand on it, you could stand on it. It was like what are the challenges of making a platform game that follows like that has like these traditional platforming elements but making it into a super explorative world?
Well, probably one of the challenges we had was kind of appealing to different audiences and what they expect from this type of game, which is one of the reasons that we came up with the expandable worlds. Because what the fan base were telling us is it was kind of split. Like some guys really enjoyed like the intimate kind of style of environments where it was very manageable and it felt like a very kind of manageable and accessible kind of type of platforming playground. But then there were other people who were telling us that they loved like huge, vast environments that were almost like a puzzle in themselves to explore and kind of figure out. So the expandable worlds allow us to do that by, players can decide to kind of progress through the game in a linear fashion and explore kind of a more manageable, kind of style of worlds. Or if you're the type of player who wants to collect absolutely everything and wants to have these vast, huge playgrounds to explore, you can choose to expand them and, go through and kind of hoover up every collectible as you go along.
So last question. Again, we both mentioned this earlier that the game is very close to release, and you've briefly talked about like we've talked about your feeling towards like it being so close and you being so attached to the project because you've been there since the beginning. Is there anything you want to say to everyone who supported, even if they didn't support the Kickstarter or like put money for the Kickstarter, like just people who have been supporting you since the beginning, and even people who don't know what the game is? Is there anything you want to tell like all these people, since the game's about to come out?
Well, I mean, of course, we want to thank everyone that supported us, from the Kickstarter and beyond. It was incredibly humbling during that campaign to see, the kind of the money and the pledges come in streaming in, and our fan base has just been absolutely incredible throughout the whole process. We've worked really, really hard to build a team and a company that can repay that faith, for a long time into the future. And we hope that everyone enjoys the game, and we hope that some of the decisions we made with the game kind of tally with their expectations. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, they weren't just backing a single game; they were backing us as a company. And we're in such a strong position now to go on and hopefully make lots of great games that our backers will really appreciate.
Thank you so much, Andy. We at Halo Player and everyone who is watching this really greatly appreciate you taking the time to do this interview, and also super nice meeting you. Like it was really nice to hear like how like you've been with this since the project, and it's really nice to see someone who's so passionate about this. Any last things you want to say to the viewers before like I just kind of sign us off?
April 11th.
April 11th. There you go. There's no reason you shouldn't know this by now. But if you don't know, April 11th. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This is Andy Robinson. I'm Nathaniel Terencio of Hey Player. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.